Hey everyone, it's Lance from Cinematic Galaxy here today, and today I just want to talk to you guys about a few things that are important to me, and they're related to Pixar, pretty much. First of all, the trailer for Monsters University came out, I think, sometime last week, and basically, as I'm sure you all know, that's it's meant to be a prequel to Monsters, Inc., and first of all, let me let you guys know this. The original Monsters, Inc. It came out in 2001. I saw that in theaters when I was 8 years old. And, yeah, I have a review of it on my channel. Practically, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's such a wonderful movie to me. It's so dear to my heart. I think it's one of the best Pixar films back when they were really in their golden age, which really kind of lasted till Toy Story 3, which is saying a lot. That's fantastic. But anyway, the trailer. My thoughts on the trailer. I was actually pretty satisfied with the trailer, pretty happy with it. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect, but I will say that I definitely still have my fears, and I definitely still have my doubts, because Cars 2 was awful, so we know that Pixar can make a bad sequel, and even though Cars is not the greatest Pixar film, I'm pretty sure Cars 2 could have been a lot better than it was, because Cars is not a bad film in my opinion. It's just one of the weaker Pixar films, but it was still good. And even Brave, while I enjoyed the film and I thought it was good, I thought it had a very strong female character, it just was not that great of a film overall. So I'm definitely skeptical. I'm definitely a little worried. And I just really hope Pixar has had passion in this project. I hope that they really care about how this turns out, because Monsters, Inc. is, maybe it's not up the Toy Story ranks, but Monsters, Inc., I mean, you're still talking about pretty much holy ground when it comes to Pixar. And a lot of people really care about these movies and about these characters, and they really want to see this turn out great. So they really Pixar can't turn out a stink pile with this film. And I will say this, the jokes in the trailer, I got a few chuckles out of them. But I will say that I hope that Pixar has saved the funniest for this movie, because if those are all the funniest parts, then it's not going to be too good. I mean, again, the jokes weren't bad. They were fine. But I'm hoping that this movie is a lot funnier than what the jokes in this trailer are. And I'm hoping that this movie has heart to it, real genuine heart. And I also hope that by the end of it, even though we probably can't say this film was necessary, I really do hope that it feels like it should have been made by the time that it's over, because I mean, I really hope it doesn't feel like a prequel for a prequel's sake. That just about never works. So yeah, Monsters University, I'm very excited for it, and I'm scared about it, but I really hope that it's great and that it gets Pixar back on track. And the other thing I want to talk to you guys about, well, actually there are two things. First of all, to get it out of the way, Finding Nemo 2 has been announced, and I haven't seen where it's actually been denied yet, because I've heard that Albert Brooks has been signed on back as Marlin, and Andrew Stanton is apparently back as director, and etc. And yeah, my thoughts on this. Finding Nemo, again, I have a review of that as well. I have a review of all the Pixar films, actually, up on my channel. But Finding Nemo is one of my all-time favorite movies as well. Needless to say, one of my favorite Pixar films. And if Finding Nemo 2 is in fact actually in production, I am a little scared, I'm not going to lie. I don't exactly know how they're going to sell the whole thing of Nemo having to be found again, unless that's just unless they're just letting us know that they're making a film related to it. Because if it deals with Finding Nemo again, it's just kind of a stretch for me to believe that he's actually going to get lost again, and that they're going to have to find him again. I really don't know what they do. Look, I think it's a wonderful movie. I think a sequel could in some way work, so if it actually is true, then I'm not completely fearful. A lot of it, though, I'm just going to wait to see how Monsters University turns out to really know my opinion on it. But, I mean, if they're making one, I really hope it's great. And that leads me to my last piece of, well, sort of news to talk about, and that's the whole thing. Recently, a Toy Story 4, it was announced that Toy Story 4 would be put into production, but then it was announced that it's actually not true at all. It was just a hoax that somebody made. And, yeah, my thoughts on Toy Story 4. First of all, the Toy Story movies, all three of them, are my favorite movies of all time. Absolutely. Animated or not, they're my favorite movies of all time. I love Toy Story. Toy Story is so dear to my heart, so dear to my childhood. All three films are individually fantastic, and together as one, they're just this great story. You know, I love the characters, I love the voice acting, the scripts, everything about them is so phenomenal, and they're really adult films in my opinion. They're good for kids, of course, but they're really actually made for adults in my opinion. So, you know, just but as for Toy Story 4, look, I love these characters. I love them. And I have no doubts that Pixar could make a really good, fun Toy Story 4. I really do think they could. But I don't think it should be done. Because I feel like, in a lot of cases, the longer these things go on as far as making movies go, it just starts to get tired and repetitive after a while. And if there's really no real thematic purpose for making it other than just having another good time with old friends, in this case the toys, then there's really no reason they should make it. And I really don't think a Toy Story 4 is needed at all. I think that they closed it perfectly with Toy Story 3 while leaving it open, which they are actually making Toy Story shorts that are occasionally appearing like in front of movies and stuff. And I think that's a great idea. Keep doing that. But there's no reason to make another full-length Toy Story film. I just don't see why they should do that. And again, I'm one of the biggest Toy Story fans around, and I don't think it should be done. I just think that that whole trilogy was all throughout perfect. They closed it perfectly. Had the most perfect ending imaginable, and I just really want them to let it be, to not just keep retreading on ground and eventually ruin it. I just really don't want to see that. Like I said, I think it could be good if it was made, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was announced officially that it was going to be made. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I think it could be good, but in my opinion, fun for fun's sake is just not a good thing. You know, it needs to be significant in some kind of way. If they really have a significant narrative in the life of a toy that they need to tell that hasn't really been told yet, then by all means make a Toy Story 4. But other than that, just let it be. Let us enjoy the three classic films that we have. But anyway, guys, that's all I really have to say about that. And, you know, just stay tuned for my next few reviews. And like I said, guys, I know it hasn't come yet, but I am going to make a top 10 of 2012. I just want to see a few more movies before I do that. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. And this is Lance from Cinematic Galaxy, signing off.